perhaps you can just give me a thumbs up and confirm.
All good, Jaco.
Thanks, guys. All right. So first of all, if you are joining us tonight, I'm going to assume for a second, and maybe Richard, you can also confirm for me whether that's correct or not, that you actually saw and got the communication via the UNISA channels regarding this GameOn with HP Gaming Garage Hackathon opportunity. And I think, guys, first of all, it's such an amazing thing that we have people like, like HP, like UNISA, that are supporting initiatives like this, because the South African game development industry is growing rapidly, although currently it's probably still seen at its infancy stage. I think initiatives like this really give game developers and people that have a passion for gaming really let's call it a floor space or a speaking space or a space to actually be able to showcase and development, to showcase and what your development skills and passions are all about, right? Now, of course, in line with this, what HP came up with is making this opportunity available specifically for in line with the recently held Heritage Day, and specifically, of course, in line with heritage around not only South Africa, but also those subcultures within South Africa as well, which I think is quite unique, and I think it's such a great opportunity to not only showcase your game development skills and you as a game developer, but to also showcase a little bit about where it all comes from, whether that is a cultural thing, whether it's a heritage thing. Those are the kinds of things that HP really wants to promote within the sphere of thinking about, you being a game developer, right? So there's a couple of things that you need to consider. And this is a team sport, right? And I know that sounds strange, but I think it's important that you understand that ideally, the way that this is set up is that you work as a team, right? When you look at the fundamentals, and I'm actually going to go to that now as well. When you look at the fundamentals, the challenge itself is based on the fact that obviously it's heritage based. And guys, of course, this can be any kind of game that contains either content or information that refers back to the idea of building heritage into the game, right? So just that, so that understanding is clear. But basically, the way that it works is that you register your team, and we'll go through the registration process now as well. But you basically start off by registering your team, and the suggested team size is 3 people in a team. So you'll see the registration process is very, very simple. Of course, it requires you to give us some contact details, because we would obviously, once registration is closed, we need to communicate some more information to you. But it also requires you to give us a team name. At this stage of the registration process, you do not have to tell us anything about your game as yet. So if you are still thinking about, excuse me, what is the type of game that you want to design, or you're not 100% sure yet what the flow of the game will be, those things are 100% fine. At this stage, you need to know that you have a team. That team has to have at least 3 people, and your team has to have a name. And of course, as all teams go, you have to choose who is the captain of that team. And the main reason for that is, as part of the registration process, you will be asked to nominate one of the people in the team as the team captain, because ideally that is the person to where all the communication regarding the initiative will be funneled to, right? So ideally, my advice on that would be, if you are 3 people in the team, you have one very creative person, you have one person that's great with artwork, and somewhere in there's a person that's good at admin. That admin person is probably a good person to consider as your captain, because there will be some administration along the process that needs to be tracked and monitored and reported on. And also, as I said, communication will go to that identified captain then as well. But what you will see, as soon as you start the registration process, the very first step is identifying those 3 people, their contact information, and then basically it's a tick box in terms of who is, who of the 3 people will be the main contact person, or then the captain, if you like, right? So that is really the first step, guys, is deciding on, do you have a team? What is your team called? And what is the roles within that team? Now, we can talk at length about the roles, but I think if you are starting out a game from a game development perspective, I think the most important thing is that, there's at least a person that can develop the game in terms of a coding perspective. Now, that doesn't necessarily have to be full on coding. There are many engines available out there that don't require, let's call it script coding, if that makes sense. I'm hoping it does. And to be honest, guys, with this particular initiative, we didn't limit the type of game engine that can be used. So for those of you who are a little bit familiar with game development and some of the ways and means to do this, I'm just going to call out some engines. Of course, as Richard said, the chat is open. So if you have any questions along the way, please call them out and I will try and do my best to answer them as well. But for example, you have engines like Unreal, you have engines like Unity, you have drag and drop engines. There's a whole bunch of block coders out there that's available. We did not limit, and I need to just stress this again, we did not limit the type of game engine that is required or that has to be used, right? We really want to allow for as much creativity as possible. So you can actually pick any engine. And if you decide that you do want to go the full coding route, in other words, pure C++ or C++ coding, or even C#, then of course you are more than welcome to do so as well. You don't necessarily have to use an engine, but with engines being what they are these days, they do help quite a bit when it comes to the process of actually developing a game. So I see there is a question in there, very relevant question. Should all team members be UNISA students? Now, from a broader perspective, I would say that from a HP perspective, that is not a requirement, although UNISA might have its own view on this. Richard, I don't know if you maybe want to comment on that question.
Yes, so from our side, if you have a team that's perhaps also have an external member, unfortunately, some of the support we won't be able to give to them directly, but we will still, they can join the open sessions that we will be having and all of that. It's just when it comes to perhaps facilitating travel that we might not be able to support them directly. But yes, definitely, if you need somebody else to help you from externally, you're more than welcome to do so.
Perfect. Guys, just on that, I would definitely suggest that if at all possible, obviously this is an initiative that UNISA is pushing, towards students that are, UNISA students effectively. And just because of the support that UNISA is prepared to offer this team, I would say that if it's at all possible to, make an entire UNISA team, that is obviously first prize, right?
Sorry, Jaco. No, the team has to be a UNISA team. We can't have members outside of UNISA. Remember, if at the end of the day, they'll be representing UNISA at the event.
Okay, perfect. So
the
that
team
then
has to be, yes, it has to be a UNISA representative team, because the idea of this is to create an exposure for UNISA students and then support the students through it, so they carry the UNISA name at the end of the day.
Okay, perfect. So that then is very clear, Dr. Denzel. Thank you very much for that clarification. So perfect, guys. Even though, as I said, from that point of view, Dr. Denzel is right. If it's going to have the UNISA support and UNISA name around it, then that team has to be then full on UNISA, right? Okay, I'm just reading the questions here as well. Just trying to catch up as I'm presenting. I've registered with my Gmail, but I'm a UNISA student. Do I need to register with my UNISA email? So I would prefer that you guys, if you have already done so, please do not try and register again, right? What I would rather suggest is that you just send us a email to please update your email address. I see actually, Richard, I think you replied the same thing. Please send your address to so that we can add it to UNISA list. That's 100%. So if you send us the mail that you did register with and you just want to change it to your UNISA mail, happy to do that. And just change that out. Obviously, it does help because it does help us to track those teams then as well, right? All right. So as Dr. Denzel mentioned, that last question there, I've already registered a non-UNISA member. So guys, unfortunately, I do think that, in this case, it has to be a UNISA team, again, just because of the support and structure that UNISA is going to offer to its students. So perhaps you might want to relook at, that particular team member, perhaps replacing them with, one of your UNISA friends or, somebody in that team, right? I think that's maybe a good way to look at that, right? So, all right, guys, I'm going to get to the EDX questions now. What I would like to do is basically just walk you through the process first, and then I guess we can get onto those EDX questions. So just in terms of the participation, obviously the requirement is that you are 18 plus years of age and that you have enthusiasm for game development. I think that's fairly easy to understand. Again, the team is made up of 3 members. It can be a team of 2 people, although, guys, just from experience, I can tell you that having 2 people on a team only sometimes is quite a lot. So the minimum is 2, although the suggested minimum would then be 3. The theme, of course, South African culture and heritage, which I think is amazing. And then in terms of the registration steps, we are currently at step 1. So from the 24th up until the 20th of October this month, so probably just over a week left, the registrations are open for you to be able to still register your team, right? After that, once you have registered your team, there will be communication going out to those registered teams. And that communication, there will be a lot of information in there, specifically around, what are some of the first steps for game development, how to approach game development, how to look at your team, how to do team makeup and structure, those sort of things. But really, the next important date in terms of the process is only, again, the 10th of November. So there's a couple of things that has to happen by the 10th of November. The one thing that needs to happen is that you have to, as a team member, submit proof that you have completed at least one module of the HP Gaming Garage. So we'll get to those modules and I'll show you what they look like. But each member in the team has to complete at least one module, right? Now, because there are several modules, I think there's about 5 at the moment. Of course, you won't all do the same one. Our suggestion would be that, a member in a team picks a module that they are going to complete, but the minimum requirement is that you have to complete at least one of those modules and then submit proof that that module has been completed. Now, the proof that you have to submit is very simple. You will go to the portal. It's the one on which we are now at the moment. Once that section is open for submission, you will just submit a screenshot of that module where it is completed, and that is seen as enough proof that that module has been completed. Then between the closure date and the 10th of November, as part of the communication, we will also send out let's call it a pack or a draft of a prototype presentation that you will be required to fill in. Now, the reason why we do that is that this particular project has 2 judging initiatives, right? The first judging initiative happens on the 15th of November, and that is literally the first judging based on the presentation that you have submitted. And that presentation, of course, being on your game prototype or your game prototype presentation, right? And out of those submissions, there are 10 teams that are selected for the finals. So irrespective of how many teams are actually submitting on the prototype presentation, from all of those teams, there will be 10 teams that selected out of that. And those 10 teams will be announced on the 18th of November. And of course, the big announcement for that is that those teams will have the opportunity to showcase their game at the Rage Expo, where the final judging will happen. Now, what that entails is that the 10 teams that do actually make it through to Rage, they will basically be allowed to come to Rage for that entire weekend. And across the Friday and the Saturday, they will be allowed to still hack together in a team while at the Rage Expo. During that time, we will also do a final judging. And the last step to that process as Rage is the team will be required to actually showcase their prototype live on stage. When that is being done, a live judging session will happen, and out of those 10 teams, there will be a first, second, and third place winner picked. Now, of course, there is prizes and medals and trophies and things like that up for grabs, but I do think that probably the most amazing part about this opportunity is if you know Rage and you know what the Rage event is all about, there will also be a lot of people there that has to do with the game design and development industry. So it gives those students an amazing opportunity that they may have not had before to actually get their game in front of people that will be very interested to see some of these prototype games. So guys, I've been talking a lot and I've been seeing the chat go wild. Richard, I don't know, maybe if you can just, if there's anything that you haven't answered or that I need to respond on that I may have missed in the chat, if you could just highlight that for me, then I can respond.
Yes, there's just a few. If you don't have a team member yet, I'm going to put it in the chat as well now. Please email adovh@unisa.ac.za. Because then we can always link you up with somebody else that also is still looking for a team member, so that you, because it's a great way that you already get somebody that's enthusiastic about it and that's actually already wants to participate. So just let us know at adovh@unisa.ac.za, and then we can link you up with somebody else. If you didn't make it to the top 10, can be still attend. So they're probably more than welcome to attend the Rage Expo if they didn't make it to the top 10. Unfortunately, you'll just have to then buy a ticket to watch the finals. Let me see if there's anything else. I see there's just somebody saying they can't hear, so hopefully they'll join on YouTube. Yes, that's all from me at the moment, Jaco. But for those that are still looking for team members, we will also send out a form to you, everybody that attended, just to indicate if you're still looking for a team member and if you're willing to be grouped with somebody so that you can participate. Thanks, Jaco. Anything else from your side?
Perfect. Yeah, there's a couple of things that I just want to still mention. So first of all, guys, just in terms of, I was reading some of the questions in here as well. So just to reiterate, no, we did not limit the type of engine that you can use at all, nor did we limit the game style or the genre. Again, the only theme requirement is that it has to do with South African culture and heritage. That is a theme requirement. But other than that, you are in a position to create any kind of game that you want, using any genre, using any engine, and using any kind of style. So again, guys, once registration closes on the 20th of October, we will be sending out additional communication specifically regarding questions that you might have around how will this game be judged. I know that is one of the questions that we anticipated will come up. Now, of course, we're not answering that today because we're still in the registration process, but we will also share with you some of the judging criteria or some of the things that the judges will take into consideration, when they are looking at your game and specifically on, how it was developed, right? So we will be sharing that information. I see there's another question. The final to 10 needs to physically present. Yes, that is correct, guys. You will have to be able to be physically present. I think Dr. Denzel will talk a little bit about the support elements that UNISA will offer students in this regard as well. But yes, it is a physical event for the 29th and the 30th. Now, the nice thing is, and guys, this is very exciting, actually, if you do make it to the, being one of the top 10 teams, where this hackathon will take place will actually be in the official Rage LAN area or the NAG LAN, right? So again, some of you might be familiar with this already. For those of you who are not, the LAN area or the NAG LAN actually allows you to pretty much stay there for the entire weekend, right? They have facilities. For example, if you don't want to leave and you don't want to go home, they have the option there to actually, you can sleep over at the venue. They have bathrooms, they have food, they have all of these things. So for the really hardcore developers that literally wants to stay there throughout the night, that will be a possibility as well, right? But definitely the event itself, the 29th and the 30th. And of course, most of that information will be communicated then should you be one of those teams that do make it into the top 10 as well, right? Is there a possibility to participate solo? This is from Kaklego. Kaklego, yes, it's absolutely a possibility. Although just understand that, I mean, you wouldn't necessarily do that in this case, right? Here, with these requirements, as you can see on the screen there, the minimum requirement is at least 2 people. So I would definitely say do get a friend. Even if you are a game developer that has the passion to do it by yourself. Of course, in this case, the project itself does have a requirement of a minimum of 2 participants. Even if that participant is your, let's call it your presenter, so the speaker, it doesn't necessarily have to do too much to the game itself. I would definitely suggest, finding that friend that can be part of the team so that you fall within those boundaries, right? If you do have a team member, okay, cool. So that's fine. I don't think there's anything else that I need to answer here specifically. Do you have to be in the top 10 finalists to stay the night at Rage? Tandu, this is obviously, if you are not part of that team, then you may have to do it in your own personal capacity. Again, as I said, the LAN or the NAG LAN does make provision for that. And of course, if you then go in your personal capacity and acquire your own NAGLAN ticket, which is currently available on the website as well, then of course you can do that in your own personal capacity. The students that do make it to the top 10, they will of course be catered for, right? So they would not have to obtain that in their own personal capacity. They will be taken care of in terms of their ticket and access and so on. Perfect.
Jacob, I just want to clarify, so the top 10 finalists is the top 10 teams, so it's not just the top 10 people.
Correct. So top 10 in this case refers to the top 10 teams. So if you are 3 people in your team, that means all 3 of you.
Thank you. Anything else?
I think, let me just double check here. I think I had maybe one more thing to share. Oh, this is what I wanted to share. Richard, do you mind if I steal the screen for a second?
No, please go ahead.
All right, perfect. So guys, I quickly want to just show you what the EDX portion looks like. Now, as I said, one of the requirements is that each member in the team completes at least 1 module of the HP Gaming Garage. Now you can find this, I will put the link in the chat as well, or Richard, if you could just do that for us, then you will have the link in the chat as well. But this is what the page will actually look like. And you guys can see that all these modules here listed as course is one of the modules, right? So currently you can see they're also available in different languages, English being the primary one at this stage. And you can see there are 4 at the top. So if you are 3 members, obviously these first 3 are probably the most interesting ones. And again, you are required as a participant in a team to complete only 1 of these modules as a member, right? Again, each member has to complete at least 1 module. And of course, there's no duplication, right? So if somebody in the team has already done esports management, it means that somebody else will have to do mastering game programming, or somebody else would need to do game design. But at the end, each member is required to complete only 1 module of the modules that are available. Perfect. Richard, I think that's the only other thing that I wanted to share.
Okay, thank you, Jaco. So just as well, just quickly want to highlight, if you want to register, so it's very easy to get to the registration link. I'm going to show you online as well, but I'll paste the link in the chat.
Sorry, Richard, just one other thing. I see there is a comment saying the courses are not free, and this is by Bessie. So Bessie, actually the courses are free. I'm just going to share my screen again so that I can just show you what I mean by that. So let me quickly go there. So you will see if you scroll all the way down, these ones that are green, that are marked as programs. If you choose them, that is not free, right? And the reason for that is that that comes with a professional certificate that carries a cost. I think the cost is $5, right? But that is not what you need to do. The ones that you need to complete is the modules only, and they are the ones up here. And you will see that they do not carry that cost for the professional certificate, if that makes sense. Perfect. Sorry, Richard, for the interruption.
Thank you for clarifying, Jaco. So I just want to highlight this. I'm going to share my screen quickly. So if you just type in ADOVH, you can go to the UNISA Academic Development Open Virtual Hub, and then under announcements. So but you will already have this in your email as well. You can register now. And if you scroll down, there's also the initial invite with the link where you can register now. So just click on the link, and this will take you to the registration page. And then once you get started, you start with your registration process by clicking on the Get Started button at the bottom. So thank you, Jaco. Any last words from your side?
No, I think that's pretty much what we had. But guys, if you do run into any issues or something is unclear, I'm quite happy to at any given point in time answer any questions. I think from your side, there is an email address available. I think it's there at the bottom. Richard, they can use the same one, right?
Yes, yeah, they can use the same one.
So it will be adovh@unisa.ac.za. So guys, please direct any questions there. Richard and Dr. Denzel and his team will filter them through to us. If there are any additional questions, or you want to find out something like that, please mail through that information and we will get on it and give you as much assistance as we can.
Jaco, just the last one. I see Tandiwe is sweating already. They just want to know exactly what happens on the 29th and 30th.
So again, guys, that is if you do make it in as one of the top 10 teams. Of course, those are the people that will then go through to to the actual, let's call it, physical hackathon. And the physical hackathon is what happens on the 29th and the 30th. So at a very high level, the schedule will look as follows. On the 29th, teams will arrive. They will be allowed to sit down and continue working as a team. The difference will be is that on the floor, there will be some experts available, right? So there will be people available during the hackathon to kind of help you with ideas, tell you about some good practices, and almost, I want to say, do those last minute tweaks to your game, right? That is on the 29th. On the 30th, during the morning, there will be judges walking around between the top 10 teams, right? And they will be doing some initial scoring. What will then happen is around 12 o'clock on the Saturday, sorry, that's incorrect, around 2 o'clock on the Saturday, those teams will get an opportunity on main stage to actually present their prototype game. And during that process, that is when the final judging will happen. Out of the final judging, probably around 4:30 in the afternoon on that Saturday, that is Saturday the 30th, we will then all join at the main stage where there will be a prize giving ceremony or an announcement ceremony where the top 3 teams will then be announced, and of course also including the first place team or the winners then. I hope for now that's clear enough.
Yes, thank you, Jaco. But students, please keep on posting questions in the chat, and then I'm sure Jaco will be able to assist you. Now, students, so you've heard now the requirements, what you need to do. So remember, if you're still looking for somebody to partner with, also let us know at ADOVH, and we can partner you up with somebody else as well. So we will have a follow-up session on that. But for our next section on how will ADOVH from UNISA support you, because we really want to see you in the top 10, I'm going to hand over to Dr. Chetty.
Thanks so much, Richard, and thank you to Jaco as well for providing that very well contextualized response to how students need to engage with this. So to our students that are with us, this is a very good opportunity for UNISA to showcase what are the competencies inside UNISA, and also compete at this level. If you succeed at this level, it's really an achievement for us as an institution and for you as students as well, to show that that UNISA can also compete in these spaces successfully. From our side as an institution, and specifically as ADOV, we want to support you through this. If you do make it to the top 10, you will have the full support of the Academic Development Open Virtual Hub with you. And this would include all your branding gear for the particular day itself will be provided by UNISA, from your jackets to your shirts or whatever it is that forms part of your branding. You will be covered fully by UNISA in terms of your branding items. And what we are also looking into as well, if you do get to the top 10, the possibility of covering your accommodation and your travel as well. We really want to encourage you as part of this, so we will do that as a motivation for you to really do well in this. Thirdly is that when you do reach that final stage and you are competing, it's not just a matter of competing once off. Even if you are not successful in winning, or if you are successful in winning, we really want to look at how we bring you back into the system as well, and mentor other students going forward as well. You would have gained valuable experience at this level, which other students at UNISA may not necessarily have had. And I think this is very positive for us to also have you feed some of those experiences to other students and get them to the same place that you are at. So we really want to encourage you, and this is part of our motivation to you, to really see how you actually reach that top 10, get you to Pretoria, brand you with the full items, and so that you do carry UNISA's name into this finals as well. From our side, as Richard has mentioned earlier, we want to create the ideal space and competencies and support that you need, because we want to see you succeed. You are our students as an institution. You carry our name, and we want to see you succeed. So whatever you require in order for you to succeed, we are here to walk you through this and to provide that kind of support for you. At the end of the day, your success is also supported by us, is also celebrated by us as an institution. And as I said, you're going not just as an individual into this, you're going as in carrying the UNISA branding with you into this event itself. So we really wish you well, and we really want to support you. As I said, we want to see you succeed. For us, at the end of the day, it's your success. You succeed, we as an institution shine, but we don't want to just shine without supporting you. We want to support you through this process itself, and that is critical for us. So we really look forward to your success in this, and we want to see you achieve that. We want to see you not just jump to top 10. We want to see you take this home for UNISA, take this home for yourselves as well. So we will provide whatever support is needed for you to take this home for as well. Thanks, Richard. I do see Jaco's hand up as well.
Perfect. So guys, what I'm also going to do, and what I will share with Richard and with Dr. Chetty soon, is once the registration closes, as part of the process, let's call it the next round of communication to those registered teams, I'm also going to just include a step-by-step for EDX for you. I see that there's quite a lot of questions in terms of which modules to select, because some modules want you to pay, and maybe the payment is confusing some of the participants. At the end of the day, guys, those modules are free. I will send through a step-by-step on which modules to select. Again, there are some of those that are not free, and then there are the 3 or 4 gaming garage modules that comes at no cost. So those are free. So again, I will send through that step-by-step. If you at the end do want a certificate to be printed, that certificate does carry a cost of $5. But if you don't want the certificate, then of course there's no additional cost to that, guys. So the idea here is that at the end it doesn't cost you anything. You get to learn, you get to have some fun with your peers, and you get to showcase really how inspirational you can be with the idea around game development, right? I'm hoping that sets everyone a little bit at ease. As part of the communication, again, just highlighting, I will send through that step-by-step guide as well.
Thank you, Jaco. So yes, students, we will definitely get that guide to you, so you know exactly what to select, which information to fill in, so you can do the course for free, so you can continue participating. And then we will also, as we mentioned, have follow-up sessions. So if there's any problems that you have, please email us, and then we can forward it to RGB Gaming so we can help you as quickly as possible. And as Denzel mentioned, we will have you backed all the way. We know our students are from all over the country, so we want to give everybody an equal opportunity to participate in this event as well. So that's why we will fully back you and support you once you make it to the top 10, and I'm sure a lot of you will. So yes, so that brings us to the end of the session. Please, if you have any more questions, email us at adovh@unisa.ac.za so we can reach out to you, and also hook you up with RGB so that we can help you with anything that you perhaps are struggling with. So with that, this is our information session, but we will be back and communicate with you shortly. We actually have a few things planned where we, especially if you're new to gaming, and you don't know gaming engines, then we will definitely have a look at, bringing in some experts to help you along the way as well. I see there is one hand. So Isaiah, I'm just going to unmute you, allow you a microphone. You can go ahead, Isaiah, to ask your question.
Good evening, sir.
Evening.
My question is about we will have another session for this presentation. Or the last session, because I was break up, I didn't hear most of the bit.
Oh, okay. So what we do is the recording is available. I'll ask David just to post the chat again to the YouTube link. So yes, this is just the information session, Isaiah. So, but we will be in touch with you once we start with the support program planned, and also the dates and times to join those. But please have a look at the recording. It will be available directly after the session on YouTube. And then in the future, we will communicate you once you're registered. So that's the first thing you need to do by the 20th of October, get registered. Then we will be in touch with you once you've registered so that you can have all this additional support along the way as well. Isaiah, I hope that helps you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Isaiah. So students, that brings us basically to the end of this information session. It was just a quick session to clear any pathways, questions that you might have. But we look forward to, once you've registered, once we get the final list, that we're going to arrange these sessions with people that can really help you with some of the gaming engines aspects or how to approach gaming. And we will definitely be in touch with you after the 20th of October, once the registrations has been completed. So with that, I'm just going to hand over to Mr. Harperstad for the closure of the session.
All right, thank you guys, and thank you, Richard. Much appreciated. So there we have it, guys. Sorry about that. So it's a Heritage Day theme based on, well, your heritage. A game you can design, make it any gaming engine. There was no limit, so that's kind of cool, guys. It means you really do have an open platform to decide what you want to do, how you want to do it. As Richard did mention, if you don't have a team yet or a member and you want to get involved, just send an email to adovh@unisa.ac.za, and then we will be able to help you and group you. So as you guys can see, there are courses that are available. Jaco did indicate he will send us the steps, which we will share with you guys. Feel free to share with your fellow students who might be interested in this, who maybe didn't know or didn't attend this evening, because it can be a benefit to a lot of you guys. As we indicated, the Adolf team is really going to support you if you do make it into that top 10 teams, with the gear, the clothing and the shirts, and I'm sure there'll be caps. I'm sure there'll be a whole bunch of things you're going to get. So all branded items, that's pretty cool. The accommodation and travel, we'll also look into elements like that to support you guys. And then, of course, the mentorship program thereafter, which is also pretty awesome, guys. That the fact that you will be able to mentor other students coming up with this type of events that we are hosting. So it'll really get you involved in some nice exposure for yourself as well. So yes, the ball is really much in your court, guys. Please do contact us. We're here to support you, and we're really looking forward to this. This is such a wonderful opportunity, and I hope you guys grab it with both hands. Thanks a lot, guys, and back to you, Program Director. Enjoy your evening further.
Thank you, everyone. So yes, this is going to be an exciting journey. This is something new for UNISA as well. And I think we can really set the stage for, the future of what we can develop in the gaming industry. And as you know, it's becoming such a big industry in the moment. So thank you all for joining. Please email us if you need any support or you need to be grouped. And we will be in touch with you after the 20th of October. So until then, just get registered. Good luck with your exams. We know exams are on at the moment as well. So please, how can I say, focus on the exams. I'm sure you're all going to do very, very well. But we will be in touch again. Thanks, everyone. Go well. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Good evening.
Bye.